Everyone, it's Luke here from Astro Awakening, and this is my new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius update for you guys. This is, a long awaited sort of transition. I think there's going to be a lot of change within this next 6-month period. The narrative shift, the collective conscious shift, big shifts, and they're already happening, but don't look to the mainstream outlets for this type of information or shift to happen, right? It's going to happen on the ground with the people. It's going to happen in their consciousness. It's going to happen with the consequences and karma for people's actions over the last 2 years. Good, bad, or indifferent, and how that's playing out. The last couple of videos, I said that this Scorpio season this year was going to be a small taste of what's to come for 2022 as the nodal shift goes into South Node Scorpio, North Node Taurus. And I don't know about you, but yeah, okay, if you look into the mainstream narrative, if you look into the government pundits, if you look into those types of areas, you're not going to see anything other than their narrative. But how many stories, how many news articles, how many social media posts, how many news sites have popped up promoting or at least advertising or whatever they are doing with the adverse effects and just the wide range of these and the scope of these and the cross-section of demographic and all over the world. Here's a personal story. In 2020 and 2021, it took until about a couple of weeks ago before I personally knew someone that got COVID. And that was two of my 3 children got COVID. Now, they had very mild, a little bit of a fogginess headache, no cold, no flu, no runny nose, no sore throat, no fever, no nothing, right? So it was very mild. Like it was, in fact, if we go back pre-Novid, if they had presented with these types of symptoms, I would have said, you're going to school. Pack your bags, you're going to school. There's nothing wrong with you, right? But 14 days isolation because, oh no, you've tested positive. What a load of shit. But my point of my story is this. So from 2020 right through till now, I don't know anyone. And most people you ask are like, do you know anyone that has it, got it? What? Like be the odd, oh, my uncle's brother's cousin's auntie, sister's nephew. Like, but how many people now know of someone personally connected within 6 degrees of separation or less that has had an adverse effect because of the jibbity jab? I know 2 guys, right, that had it and then ended up in hospital with severe chest pain and what would probably normally be diagnosed as the myocarditis or pericarditis or whatever that's called. And you know what they said? Oh no, this is due to high cholesterol. So, the fallout for people's actions and choices and where they've placed their value over the last 2 years, 2022 is going to be that. I'm telling you, we're not going to escape this. For every action, there is opposite and equal reaction. It's just the it's one of the laws of nature and the universe. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Energy seeks to do what? Balance itself, equilibrium, right? This has been an intense 2-year period. What do you think? There's going to be no repercussions and fallout and like from this? This eclipse, this one here, the Sagittarian eclipse, it's a new moon eclipse. So, it's a seed for what's to come. It's a transition that we're making. These eclipses, they unfold these 6-month periods of time what's happening in astrology is it's just, we're looking at time. We're looking at cycles of time. We're doing different little micro to macro cycles of time. We have a moon, which is a lunation throughout the month. We have an eclipse, which is a 6-month period. These eclipses come in 18-year cycles, that they're part of 1,200-year cycles. Like there's just cycles within cycles within cycles. But these eclipses tend to activate a transition, they bring about a shift within nature. And we are part of that, albeit quite disconnected. So this, I'm going to break down my perspective on the solar eclipse. It's happening actually right now. It's in Australia at the moment. It's Saturday, the 4th of December, and it's 5:35. The eclipse is in about 10 minutes technically for the exact, moment that the sun and moon align. And this is an eclipse that's happening over Antarctica, the southern, one part of the southern region of this plane of existence where we live. Which I find pretty interesting because this is a new moon solar eclipse. So we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse on the 15th, 16th of May in 2022, which is sort of like the full moon for this point, right? Even though on the 19th of December, we're going to have a full moon in Gemini, which matches this new moon. The eclipse full moon, right? The lunar eclipse is going to be next year in May. Interesting that this one's happening over Antarctica, and the lunar eclipse is going to be visible right through South America and up through North America in that sort of region. So these are interesting places to watch for shifts, especially on the geographic and geological level, seismic earth movements, volcanic action along these areas. Both of those eclipses, this one here, this solar eclipse that we're having today, and the lunar eclipse that happens next year, both of them have very active Uranian energy, Uranus energy. Uranus is sudden and unpredictable. It's about the, resolution of a stalemate, where there's this sort of needs to be a transition, and Uranus sort of rules over the collective conscience, consciousness, not conscience, but the collective consciousness. So often there is this buildup of intensity in this energy, and then there's this breakthrough or shift. And these often happens, if you look back in history, they happen after significant events, whether man-made or orchestrated by the hands of man. Big, huge events create a shift in the conscious awareness. My personal perspective is that's what this 6-month period is going to be. A unexpected and sudden shift in consciousness here. So I firmly believe those of us that have a authentic connection to our own spiritual purpose, right? Our spiritual meaning and purpose are going to be able to transition through this shift in consciousness, this collective consciousness. But I feel like that those that haven't been able to obtain or have some personal relationship with their own spiritual, connection to whether it's their soul or higher self or reincarnation or what they're doing here, I probably will find this transition of consciousness quite challenging. And that's what I believe is the hidden meaning of this eclipse. So let's jump into my breakdown for you guys. I got a little bit of keynote going on for you guys. So, fuck yeah. The dude is leveling up. Okay, here we are. Here is the chart for the eclipse. So the time is, roughly about 5:43 Australian Eastern Standard Time today, the 4th of December, 2021. Here you'll see the sun and the moon making their conjunction at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. So for you budding astrologers out there or anyone that's aware of their chart, you're looking into a chart into Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, and Virgo for anything around 12 degrees. This is going to be quite significant for you guys because it's going to activate that via degree, but also going to either place it in a conjunction, a square, or opposition. So there's going to be quite a lot of shifts and changes. We're in mutable energy with Sagittarius, right? So they have mutable signs, fixed signs, which is Aquarius, cardinal signs are Capricorn. So mutable signs deal in change. They deal in the shift, right? It's, we have the beginning of a season. It's the new stuff that's coming through, which is cardinal energy. Then you get into that middle part of a season and it's just stable. And then all of a sudden we get to the end of a season and things start to get change and shift ready for the next season. We could then micro scale that down to looking at a day and go, okay, there's this cardinal energy as the sun is rising. It's the burst of the sun across the horizon and a new day is born. We get to the middle of the day and it's just like fixed energy with like hot part of the day, sort of like, you can sort of consistent type of temperature and energy. And then as we get into the afternoon, and as we sort of cool things down, there's this shift of energy as we move into nighttime. So you could sort of look at the mutable energy as that shift ready to bring about something new, right? The shift that needs to take place so that something new can come. So just hold on to that idea or that symbol, is that it's mutable, it's changeable, and it's the shift that type of thing happens so that something new can come through. So this solar eclipse, which is a new moon, which is like planting a seed of energy into the consciousness and the collective consciousness of energy, that's going to unfold and birth something, right? With an eclipse, we're looking at either a north or south node eclipse, depending on where the sun is. And in this case, the sun and moon are close to the south node, right? And the south node of the moon, in this case, represents karma and the past, right? So there are things that we need to resolve that may come through, that may need to be resolved, to be let go of. And it could be ideology, beliefs. It could be our understanding of, knowing what it is, those types of things. And it could be events from the past that there needs to be some reconciliation for. That's interesting too, because that's reflected in the Sabian symbol for the 12th degree of Sagittarius. So we'll come to that a little bit later. The interesting thing about this is there's an inconjunct to Uranus, right? So 12 degrees, 21 minutes, Uranus is at 11 degrees, 38 minutes roughly, creates an aspect, not exact, but still significant. And Uranus is over here in Taurus, and it's the revolution of the value system, right? The collective consciousness is really transmuting and transforming the very things that they value, the money, wealth, possessions, and where we've put our value. And like I've said this too in previous videos about, those that have chosen the traditional conditioned points of value, which is to have security that comes through an acquisition of, perhaps a home or a job or money or a car or those types of things. And they've valued that out, those things, those material possessions outside of self, and they've compromised themselves, their personal health, right? Their sovereignty, their actual, their conscience. They've made a compromise to their conscience. In other words, what they know to be right, they've gone against that because I have to have this, because that, whatever that thing is, whether it be a job, a career, a house, money, whatever possession it is, whatever thing that it is that you have to have, the compromise is that provides my sense of security. That's it. That's what I need. I've got to have that, because then when I've got that, I feel comfortable and secure. Well, what if you had nothing? What if you had nothing? Just like the bare baby bum that you come into this world with zero, and as you're going to leave with nothing. Remember that you came into this world with nada, niente, caput, zilch, zero. You came in here with your heart beating in a physical form, right? That's it. You're going to leave with your heart stop beating and no more physical form. You didn't have anything when you came here, and you're not going to take anything when you go. So what is it in the middle bit that you need to have to feel comfortable and secure? And have you compromised your sovereignty, your personal health? Have you compromised your conscience, what is right and righteous, what you know to be wrong? Have you compromised against that to have that thing, whatever that thing may be, that provides that level of comfort? The consequences of that and where we've placed our values is going to be felt in 2022. The transition that's going to happen is in the collective consciousness, is this revolution of what we value, right? But for some people, in fact, a fucking lot of people, it's going to be this retrospective, oh, fuck. I sacrificed all those things that actually at the end of the day, when all's said and done, mean nothing. They mean nothing. Those of us that have had a legitimate, authentic awakening of consciousness, and we've had a deep connection to ourself or our authenticity or our soul or our higher self, for whatever reason or however it's come about, doesn't matter. But those of us that have are the ones that are holding the line, that are resisting this process, the ones that know this isn't right. Our conscience is saying something's not right here. Some of us know why, and a lot of us don't. Why it's not right. But that has been, no, you know what, this is something that I'm not willing to compromise, to step over, to sacrifice at all, right? This type of energy unfolding over the next 6 months, this shift in the consciousness and what we value as a collective, is going to be an easy transition for those people that have got a genuine, personal, authentic connection to spirit, to soul, to the reason they fucking came in here and adopted a body for a period of time instead of being in the eternal space of the spirit world, right? If you haven't yet, here is your opportunity. Here is your opportunity, right? It may require a challenge to your belief system. It may really require you confronting what you think you know, maybe some humble pie. And that's been the message for the last 18 months as these nodes have been in Sagittarius, South Node, North Node, and Gemini. Information, Gemini. Information comes in. But are we stuck in a belief? Are we stuck in an ideology? Are we stuck in what we think we know? Have we allowed information to challenge that? Or has the information that we've sought just reinforced that? In other words, coming from the same place that it always comes through. Your television, tell a vision, right? Your government, your corporations, and your so-called celebrity, what are they? Leaders? Who are those people that people look up to as if like, oh, well, this influencer or that celebrity or this sports person, they're doing it, that, well, it must be right. Again, placing the value outside of yourself, placing it into something outside or external of self. And if you've allowed the government, the media, and those things, this information to come from the usual sources, it's probably just reinforced your belief and you've stayed stuck in this really dogmatic, moralistic, I know. And then what are you doing? Casting stones from that high horse, that high Sagittarian horse of moral fucking, superiority. And I cast the stones. And what do we look for? A scapegoat. Someone that we can blame. Oh, look at that idiot. Look at that Trump. Or look at that anti-vaxxer. Look at that conspiracy theorist. Oh, ha, ha, I know. I'm going to do a video in the coming days on just how come and what is the reason, energetically, symbolically, and occult, esoteric reason that highly intellectual people are the last to, if not at all, wake up. Because there is a very esoteric reason for that. When I break it down, and I'll use the tarot and I'll use astrology to help you understand that, and I'll use cosmology and biology, And it's a really interesting little breakdown. So I'm going to do that video in the coming days. But here's the thing. This eclipse is going to activate. This is the last eclipse, well, with the nodes in Sagittarius Gemini. The nodes won't be back in Sagittarius Gemini now. It'll be 9 years before they flip, and you'll have the South node in Gemini and the North node in Sagittarius. And it'll be another 9 years, and then you'll have the North node back in Gemini and Sagittarius. So it's pretty significant. It's right at the end. And this eclipse, you know, bringing this next 6-month period to birth, within that 6-month period, there's a transition. Actually, it's the 19th of January next year. We have the South node slipping into Scorpio. The South node, the karma, the past, right? You need to, here is some resolution that needs, here's some letting go. And in Scorpio, it's the sign of death, rebirth, transformation, truth, deep, deep truth. And the North node is going to be in there with Uranus in Taurus. What do you value? Money, wealth, possessions? We're going to get the birth of some type of new financial system or currency, but it's probably going to come on the back of the collapse of the existing one. In fact, as Pluto entered into Capricorn in 2008, we had the global financial crisis, the GFC. They like to just put these things into acronyms, right? The GFC. And what happened? You had the meltdown of the financial system because it's backed by a fiat, phony, fake system of money created out of thin air, which they then lend to you, right? And charge you interest to pay back. It's a fucked up, phony system. So in 2008, that system collapsed. But what they did is they booted the can down the road. They kicked it down the road. They band-aided the shit out of it. And they just kept the same system going. Well, as the nodal shift happens into Taurus, and we've got Uranus, the revolution of Taurus energy, which is money and values, wealth, possessions. Taurus is the bull. What do we have at the New York Stock Exchange? The bull, right? And we're going to have next year and the year after, we're going to have Pluto move into the 29th degree of Capricorn. And that 29th degree of the sign before this big energy shifts into Aquarius in 2023, 2024, we've got some karma. We've got a lot of shit that needs to come up to be resolved within this Capricorn systems of control, authoritarian systems of control. Banking, medical, government, finance, educational. There's a lot of collapse coming in a lot of those systems in the next 2 years. So yeah. Now on a personal level, something is holding you back. Probably a belief, probably something that you think you know, but perhaps you don't. Maybe there's a shift in your consciousness. And look, here's the thing. Sagittarius is about looking forward. It's about going over the horizon. It's seeking to expand your mind, right? Through religion, spirituality, travel, philosophy, foreign culture, foreign lands, teaching, you know, anything that helps us break out of our familiar reality or a familiar mind or what we think we know and expand beyond that. That's Sagittarius. So it's really seeking, looking forward energy, ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter in Aquarius is like, you know, it's bringing through this truth. It's there. The truth is there in plain sight. But if you're prejudiced because of your belief system, you do not see the truth at the moment. If your belief system has kept you stuck in the same area that you get your information from, and you're not able to look at the broader picture and to collect information from different points of view, opinions, and perspective, and correlate that based on your own internal intuition and knowing, you're not seeing the real fucking truth at the moment. But Jupiter in Aquarius is the ability to see clearly the truth. Fucking Trump did that. He blew the trumpet, right? And he broke down the veil. Now, pre-Trump, people like myself could see through it because we awoke and we questioned and we started to look at everything and we sort of fucking stepped back and went, hang on a second, this is a game that we're not playing. We're being played, right? But then Trump comes along and he blows his trumpet and he pulls down that veil and now you can see, holy fuck, They've rigged an election, stole it. They've corrupted the media. They're writing the narrative. It's just plain and simple for most. But if they're stuck in this belief and they're prejudiced to a belief system, and the more intellectual, the more learned, the more studied, the more little syllables or dots and numbers and names and fucking letters you have after your name, the more likely you are that you cannot see the truth, because you're not looking at the bigger picture. You're not looking at it from every different perspective. You are shut down and you're judgmental, and you're that's the thing, the judgmental on that, because it goes against that. And you've identified and you've invested in your belief system. So hell or high water comes before you let that go. Well, good luck in the next 6 months. There'll be a few I told you shows, but for me, it's not I told you so. It's more like, welcome to the party. Better late than fucking never. So yeah, on a personal level, there's some resolution of the past that's going to come through that needs to be, there's some karma that needs to be dealt with, right? And it's just how you deal with that. Well, Venus is moving into its retrograde station, and it's pretty much conjunct Pluto now in the sky. If you look in the evening as the sun sets, she's the brightest sky. She's the brightest she ever gets right now in the sky. So from now, pretty much she'll start to get less and less, duller and duller and duller, until she then disappears altogether. And we'll see her appear then next year as the morning star. She turns retrograde on this full moon in Gemini on the 19th of December. But what is this Venus retrograde? This is an intense, potent retrograde, because we are digging down into the truth. Pluto, what does Pluto want? Your deepest truth. And what is Venus? Your relationships, your relationship to things of value, money, love, right? Love, those things that you have hidden, concealed, repressed, pushed down, they're going to come up. They need to. In order to liberate, to free yourself, and to be more empowered and in alignment to your authenticity, you have to confront what's buried below the surface. And Venus Pluto is about burying whatever's buried below the surface when it comes to love and money and relationships. It's coming up. And it may require a confrontation with the past, some karma, perhaps on your own part or someone else's inflicted actions or behavior towards you that need to be resolved. Practice in this period of time, especially the festive season, compassion for self and others. At the end of the day, we're all wounded, right? We're all in some way, shape, or form or another. We've got some element of a wound. If we weren't wounded, we wouldn't keep coming back here to reincarnate, right? To evolve our consciousness, our soul's expression, and to find unconditional love for self and others, right? That's what Earth is. It's heart, right? Earth is an anagram for heart, and that's what we're learning how to do in Earth School, is open up our heart. But the reason we can't have unconditional love for ourselves is because we've been wounded, right? We've been wounded. But if you look back into the past and your own life, but also beyond that into the last 1,000, 2,000, 20,000 years of humanity, you'll see very good reason as to why we're wounded. Because why? Because we've been disconnected from self and source. We haven't landed here knowing what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we've fucked up ourselves and others along the way. We've raped, pillaged, murdered, hung, burnt. We've done horrendous things to each other in our past. So, we're all imperfect in that way, right? We're all doing the best we can with what we got, whether it seems that way or not. So the best way to handle this sort of bumpy little Christmas period we've got coming through is compassion for self and others. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Right? And if you can't, then shut the fuck up. Don't do anything. Withdraw yourself if you need to. It's better than a conflict or bringing this, Pluto energy up to the surface, and it's like just the row that's going to go on. Right? Christmas Day, we're going to have Sun square Chiron. Well, that's challenging. That's challenging. Chiron represents the wound, right? So there could be a lot of, misunderstandings and projections and, reactions and, because of perceived hurt. Perceived hurt. You didn't say something, you did say something, you said it the wrong way, you didn't say it how I wanted you to say it. It's just, the picture, it can go on and on and on. So start now practicing kindness and compassion. As we move forward, the full moon to this new moon is on the 19th, the day that Venus retrogrades. On the 24th, the day before, we're going to have the final Saturn-Uranus square. Fuck, it's just tense. It's tension. We've had that tension now playing out for at least the last year, maybe a little bit longer with this energy. But there is this need for change. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You actually have the power to change. Change the way you respond, change the way you react, change the way you direct your energy. But change is needed. I'm going to speed this up a bit because it's almost dinner time. I'll try to get to that. So the Sabian symbol. So every degree of the zodiac, 360, has a particular symbolic image associated to it. And the Sabian symbol for the 12th to 13th degree of Sagittarius, so it's actually called Sagittarius 13, even though it's the 12th degree, is a widow's past brought to light. Well, isn't that fitting? Notwithstanding, hang on, let's break this down. The past can never be forgotten until we have dealt with what we need to deal with fully and finally. This is on jamesburgess.com. He's a site that I like to get my information for my Sabian symbols. There was a book written in the 70s, but I can't get a copy for under fucking $200. So I revert to good old Googs. But anyway, notwithstanding the uplifting joy that a new dawn is coming, the past is still to be dealt with. Karma cannot be sidestepped. Awakening people experience an acceleration of life's speed of change. We deal with what comes up and thus attract more and more such challenges at a faster and faster pace. Absolutely exponential. And that is the Great Awakening. Hello, as you awaken, right? All of a sudden, you are part of consciousness, the collective consciousness. As you awaken, you affect collective consciousness. It's the butterfly, the ripple effect. It's just like we are all connected. Never lose that idea, right? Or that point, because it creates a lot of hope. It's like, the more I change, the more I overcome dysfunctional behavior, the more I deal with my shadow and I heal, I affect everything. I affect my loved ones, my family, everything, right? I can be the catalyst for change just by changing myself. It's a powerful thing. Also, we associate with others doing the same thing, and this adds energy to the spin. Hello, soul tribe, family, you're out there. Most of you are my soul tribe, my family, my soul family. I've never fucking met you in real life and physically touched you. But that's cool. How cool is that? We're the fucking tribe, and we're growing in numbers because of the power of transition and change. Then terribly painful and inconvenient life issues can come and go and leave us as untroubled by grief, regret, and nostalgia. Those that have doing the work, awakening, transitioning, expediting that process, connecting with their soul tribe, right? Leaving the past behind, overcoming their dysfunctional behavioral patterns, are less troubled by grief, big theme for 2022, regret, another big theme, and nostalgia. Here's the thing, this is my interpretation of karma. It's not you've done something bad and now you're paying for it. I believe that's divine justice. I think that's just the way the universe balances. But karma, I believe, is more on a personal level, is you have a habit or a particular behavior pattern here, which affects a reality here, which reinforces the behavior pattern, which creates another reality, which reinforces the behavior pattern, right? And you go on this loop, and it's just like, I just keep meeting the same person. I just keep getting the same boyfriend. I just keep having the same problem with the same boss, because the behavior creates the reality. How do you stop that? How do you get off that karmic fucking rabbit wheel, or sorry, hamster wheel or mouse wheel? How do you get off it? Well, you stop the behavior that creates the reality. And how do you do that? Well, you take a look at yourself and you make a change. I'm talking about the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. You know it. You got to change. Don't keep doing the same fucking thing, expecting a different result. If nothing changes, nothing changes. It's like hitting your head against the wall. Oh my God, it hurts. It hurts. Stop hitting your head against the wall. Oh, yeah, of course. You can stop. You can change. You can go left instead of right. You can go up instead of down. You have the power to change. So interesting. Sagittarius, it's a seeker, right? This is a fitting image. It's a seeker. She knows why the fuck she's here in that set of series and movies, right? Yeah. But do you know why you're here? Is it to, get up Monday morning and run the 9 to 5 and, burn the candle at both ends, bust your ass to acquire your possession, a house? Is it to, raise a family? Like, what is it? Why are you here? What's your purpose? Do you know what that is? Do you realize you have a soul, right? Beyond this ego? Have you explored deeply into the meaning of your existence? Astrology is a fantastic tool that can help you do that. If you haven't yet had a personal introduction to your birth chart through an astrological reading, come and check one out with me. I said last video that I was going to be busy, and I wasn't wrong. And we're moving to Christmas, so I'm not sure yet what time I'm going to be taking off. But if you want to get in now. Get in now is the perfect time to be able to navigate this next 6 months in particular. Some big changes. And here's the thing. How come this hasn't been like this before? Well, as you awaken, you become more susceptible and more aware and more able to have a personal, tangible experiences of these shifts in energy. You become more attuned to them. So yeah, there's always been things happening, but we've been asleep. And as we awaken up, this becomes more and more, potent in our lives. So learn how to navigate. Our ancestors from, ancient times, this is what they did. They divined the sky. They guided their lives and others. They learned when to plant, when not to, when to invade and when not to, and how to come together. And we can use that same power personally and collectively. And we will, and we are starting to do that. So it's encouraging. But Sagittarius is the seeker, right? It's the archer. Would I ask you this question? Have you found your light within? Have you found your light within? Because that's what is going to guide you in any darkness. Doesn't matter how dark it gets, how crazy it gets, how wild it gets. If you've got a connection to the light that shines within you, I guarantee you're going to navigate these times much easier. And you have a light within you. If you're thinking and watching this video, like, what's he talking about? Book in for a session. We can dive deep into that. The aspect to the solar, the main aspect for me is this solar eclipse is in conjunct or quincunx Uranus. How well you cope with change will depend on how deeply connected you are to your spiritual truth. Amen to that. How well you cope with change will depend on how deeply connected you are to your spiritual truth. Not my spiritual truth, yours. New moon solar eclipse. It's happening today. Hopefully that's been helpful for you guys. I've got a few videos I'm going to be putting up over the next couple of days. One I've already spoke of. There's a few more coming just on different topics that I've been working on. I'm also putting together a 2022 presentation, and I'm going to personalize that down for people as well. But I'm working on that at the moment. I'm going to hope to get that out before the end of the year so that I can put together an event It'll online. I might even do it live here on the Gold Coast. I'm not sure. See how things are going. I might actually do that and then stream it live for those that can't be there. And it'll be a paid event, but obviously it's going to be quite affordable for this time of year. Everyone's, you know, spending money on their loved ones and things. So it's not going to be astronomical, pun intended. But yeah, so things to look forward to. So I attended a Undivided Gold Coast event a couple of days ago. So I'm going to put it out on my another video about that and what I think and we can do, because it was really interesting. Some different points of view, some nurses, some people in business, some lawyers. It was really interesting to see their perspective on what's happening. The short and curlies of it is, don't fucking think that this war, this spiritual war we're going through, is going to be won in the courtroom, because it ain't. So don't look for a breakthrough court case or something to shift. But just like the banking system, the education system, government system, the media system, the financial system, like all those systems, just as they're being corrupted, so too has the legal system. So too. So, you know, when you've got a barrister, a constitutional lawyer, and a law expert sitting there telling you that this isn't going to be won in the courtroom, you should probably listen to that. So I'll leave you on that note. Don't lose hope. Be optimistic. Change is coming. Which side of history are you going to be on? The right side, because you've aligned to your conscience and you've not sacrificed no matter what, because you realize you come here with nothing and you're going to leave with exactly the same, and everything in between is to be enjoyed and to be, but not to be hung on to, not to be possessed. Right? What do you think they call them? Possessions. My possessions, I've got to have it. My possessions. Well, actually, I do have to have my owl and my pineal cone. Absolutely. I can't be without those. They're my possessions. But what do you think they call them? Possessions. What happens when you get possessed by a demon, a spirit, an entity, or an energy? Same thing. Think about this. It's all in words. Anyway, peace out. If you love this video, like the shit out of it. Even better, share it. Share it on whatever platform you can. Subscribe, comment, please. Reach out. This is community. Back, forth, back. You know, let me know. And give me your personal perspective on what's happening. All right, peace out. Stop that now. How do I do that? Let's see.